Hey, Niall Martimount Jenkins here. Thanks for stopping by the Car Connection Workshop. We've got a ton of stuff to get through, so I want to make sure that I just say thank you to City Auto Sales and Leasing for making today's YouTube video possible. You can find them on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. Buy with confidence, be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. That's Earl and Louise Grant, husband and wife team, City Auto Sales and Leasing, Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. Let's get right into it. Okay, if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, this has really turned into a major project. And I wasn't going to share it with you, but I thought, you know what? How better way to show you how fast something that looks fairly simple to do can turn into a huge event. That's what I call it. This is turned into an event. How did it start? You see all these parts laying here? I'm going to walk you through all of them. That is this Beetle inside. What has prompted all of this is a cabin air filter attacked by mice, and it happens all the time. And especially on vehicles that have the cabin air filter that's sitting into, let me go get the piece so you can get a better view, because this will help you understand it. Yeah, and this is going to be a short. We're going to do a short on that just to show you how difficult it has been to get parts and get parts correct the first time. So this is the housing that holds the cabin air filter. This sits in the car this way, and then the filter pushes into it. So it sits in a cavity that's horizontal. And this is what I'm going to say. All the cabin air filters that are sitting in a hollow under the dash or under the hood, you had better make sure that your tech is getting there to that filter, because the mice will. Don't ask me how they get in there, but they get in there. Because if I had we have a Saab 2009 3, when I got it, I knew to go to the cabin air filter, and I pulled it. Sits in a grill under here, under this hood. You open the hood, and then there's a big grill area. That's where your wiper motor and everything is. There's a cabin filter in there. It's actually bigger than this. Not quite as wide, but it's narrow and it's long. It's about this long. And when I pulled that got into that cavity, it was full with mice, condos, and the pee and the excrement. Excrement? No. What's the word, Skippy? Excrement, which includes all three components: spit, urine, and poop. Excrement. So you have to get it out because it's hantavirus. Hantavirus. And I looked it up, folks, and it's not something you want to mess with. I thought, I need to check and see what that is. So if you want to look it up, it's hantavirus, and it'll explain to you how those three components can make you a very ill person and even possibly kill you based on your health conditions. So here's where we're at. We get in there, short story, we get in there, I discover the mice have been in there, and it's a disaster. There is excrement everywhere, from north to south. And you gotta get in there and you gotta clean all of it out. You can't just vacuum it out. It's got to be bleached. It's got to be sanitized, sterilized, and use an antibacterial product, which I have for detailing cars. It's certified hospital use. So here's where we're at. To access, you're going to see it in the next portion, the cavity. I've had to take all this out, all of it. This is the whole top of the dash for me to access and get in there and clean. If you were paying for this job, I can tell you right now, if you brought this into my own personal shop and I'm busy, I'm going to have to tell you I can't get into this right now, because this is going to take hours. For me to get all of this out is like 4.5 hours, because I had to go even further and take the center portion of the dash out, and it is a project. All the gauges have to come out. There's screws that are hidden behind the radio, so then you have to have the radio tools to get the radio out. They have to fit into these slots. and I have a secret way of getting it out, but still it's work. You got to get this panel out to gain access completely to the cavity where the air filter is so you can get in there and clean the whole thing. You'll see that in the next. I also knew, because I worked for Volkswagen Canada, make sure you've got your radio code before you pull the radio. If you don't have the radio code, then you're going to pay a dealer to program the radio when you're done. And they're going to have to pull the radio and get in touch with Volkswagen Canada to get a radio code so that your radio works when you're finished. So I knew that already, and it was great. Somebody put the radio code right on the radio, so the radio was out before. So this is all time and money. That's where I'm getting to. So it's not just a matter of accessing and changing the cabin filter, which would be the greatest thing to do. But if you're putting vehicles in storage and it has a filter like I just explained, you need to get in there and you need to put some bounce sheets in there and just lace them in there and then close it up. Or even leave it open so that you can pull the bounce sheets out in the spring or when you're pulling the vehicle back out, and then close it up, one way or the other. So here's what I ran into, and I knew I was going to run into stuff. Okay, number one, this piece of foam was all covered in pea excrement. Thank you, Skippy. Excrement. So it's not available, and that goes on the dash portion. So we'll show you in a couple minutes. Let's deal with this here. So I used to build guitar cases, so I had some foam left over from the last guitar case I built. So I made a pattern off of the old one that was covered in excrement. Very carefully, I just laid it down on some trace paper, which I keep to create gaskets, and I created a template, and then I transferred it to a piece of foam, and I cut it out. And it doesn't have to be super perfect, but it has to be in there, because what it does is, everything I'm going to talk about here is sound deadening. These Beetles have a big cavity in there, and you're going to get to see that, and that's your plenum. So in your house, you have a plenum for the furnace, and it makes a lot of noise. You know when the furnace is on in most cases, but in this car, if you don't have the sound deadening pieces in place, you're not going to like it when you put the blower fan on high speed. It's going to drone like you wouldn't believe. So I created this myself, and I'll spray glue it on the back like I did. It doesn't matter, there's spray glue on there already. It's going to get glued again, and I'll show you where that goes. So I'll just place that here. Next, I had to get the side curtain panels off without breaking the tabs off and breaking these off, otherwise, and these clips, because if you get rammy and you break them, you can't get this stuff anymore. This car's it's almost 25 years old. It's like 24 and a half years old. It's an 03. So I knew how to get them off, but you got to be very, very careful to get them off, because you can split them. You can break the tabs, break these tabs, break that little tab, and then the panels don't fit and they rattle. Drives you stinking nuts. So we'll just, the fire chicken, we're going to miss it when it's done, because I'm getting ready to finish the brakes on that, and then it's going to be mobile. Next, all the insulation on these panels, these are the panels that cover the dash in and seal it off before the main dash panels go on. So this is layer number one. The insulation was all destroyed by mice. So I thought I can go to a car shop that does upholstery. No big deal. No big deal. It was a big deal. I got I can't help you with that. So that means you got to come up with something. So I went to a Michael's store, a big craft store in Niagara Falls, and I was looking for the batten, but you can't buy it in a roll. So you just buy it in a bag. So like to stuff a pillow, or you're making a stuffed animal for grandson or daughter, you buy that in a bag, you stuff it in there. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, I can't use that. I need something that lays flat. So this is all cotton. They use it for making quilts. So I doubled it to give it the thickness I needed. I didn't take these star wheels off, so I didn't break any of these. So all I did was I cut a slit, and I marked out where in the pattern you'll see I marked where the holes are. This is how I do it. So I marked where the holes are, so I knew exactly where the holes needed to be, and then just put a slit with a razor blade, and then I was able to get around the star wheels, the pinwheels. So now the other problem I have is when this is up, it's going to want to droop, and we can't have it drooping. It needs to be up. If it was made of the same fabric that was on there, it wouldn't droop because it was the fabric and it had a mesh on both sides. So you got to create something because you can't buy the panels. They're not the whole panel even. To get this, you got to buy the whole panel, which is no longer available. So I have come up with a fix, and I'm playing with it a little bit, is how I can take some wire, some stovepipe wire, and create a boodly-doodly pattern which will prevent it from sagging when it goes in the car, because we can't have it sagging. That won't work. So I'm just working the pattern out, how it's going to go, and I'm just using a piece of sash cord that I keep in my box, and I'll show you the wire that I'm going to use to fix it. I call it stove wire because that's what it is. It's stove wire, it's coated. So I will run my wire in the pattern that I decide to run. So one of them will be my template to mirror on the other one, and then I'll make the other one exactly the same. So that's going to be my stove wire, going to go around the peg, and then I just have to squeeze it around like that, and it'll stay there. So I just need my pattern that covers everything. It's this piece here and that piece there that I'm working on. I've almost got it. It's close. So I will work it out, and that's how I will fix that. And this is how you got to do this stuff. Now on a newer car, it will obviously be different, but this is 25 years old. So I'm going to cut it off there, and then we'll come back. We'll do the second part because I'm going to talk more about the problems now I face. I've had to take the car apart, and somebody else has been there before me, and it's a problem. And now I have to deal with it because somebody else has been there before me and not been very gentle with the car. So I'm going to walk you through that because it's important that when you're doing a job that you don't get destructive. Because now for me to put this all back in the car with what I've discovered somebody else has done prior to my person, I have to correct it. Otherwise the car will not be right. It will be rattling and squeaking and drive you absolutely crazy when it's all back together. And you'll have to live with it. So it's not that I haven't gone down this road before where somebody has been there on a vehicle before me and done some very sloppy work, and that's exactly what I'm dealing with next. So I'm going to share it with you because when you're doing these things, and especially if you're working on something that's vintage, this is almost vintage. It's going to be 25. So 25 is I think they call it, no, it's not quite historical, it's vintage. Antique? Yeah, an antique. So it's a quarter century, and that makes a difference on insurance and everything. But when you're working on it, you can't always get all the pieces that you need to fix. So you're going to have to work at ideas just like this. How do I make correction in today's world? We have a question. Skippy? Yeah, there's 4 different categories. There's historical is when you get back to like 1800s, early 1900s, 1700s, and then there's vintage, then there's classic, then there's historical. So there's several different, I don't know which one it slots in. Maybe put that in the comments section. It's almost 25 years old. What category does this Beetle fall into? Because this is one of the first series. They came back with them in 1998. And so this is like the first body style that they worked with till, I think it stayed until like 2011, almost 2011. Anyway, we're going to see you in the next one. We're going to pick up where I've left off here and show you damage that now needs to be corrected as I put the car back together. And we're going to talk about the time and money that it takes to do this kind of stuff. So don't go away. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and I'm not going to say it. It's at the end of the video. But thanks for all you do for us and stopping by and commenting. Leave us a really good comment. And if you leave comments, please keep the language clean, please. Especially right now with everything the way it is. Everything's being monitored. Please don't, if you're going to leave a nasty comment, please just don't do it. Another question?
How important is it for them to subscribe, Niall?
Well, here's the thing. Is Skippy and I are trying to get to our first 1,000 subs. We've hit the halfway mark, so we're at 500. If you would get your booster cables out and just make sure that you are subscribed, because we're at about 74% as of the analytics this morning. 74% of you are watching the videos and enjoying the videos and the shorts, but you're not subscribed. How big a difference would that make to us? Huge, because once we're monetized, that changes everything. That means we can help some people and pay for the parts and actually carry itself. If it weren't for our program partners, this wouldn't be possible. They're sticking with us till we get on our feet. How do we get on our feet? We need you to like, share, subscribe.
It's free.
And it's free. It's absolutely free. So if you're enjoying the videos, we have 450 pieces for you to entertain yourself with and educate yourself with on our YouTube channel. We have season 3 coming up already on our podcast. So if you haven't caught our morning podcasts, you need to skip over there. Now I've got all the podcasts loading into the YouTube channel. So this morning's podcast is already there. So we do the Motormouth Morning Drive at 8 a.m. on all platforms, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Podbean. Wherever you're pulling your podcasts from, you're going to get more information that I don't get to share in the videos on the podcasts. And I walk you through vehicle ownership. So if you're a person that drives your vehicles in the ground, the podcast is not for you. If you're interested in saving time, money, and a few bloody knuckles and keeping a vehicle as long as you want and putting money back in your pocket, that's what I'm good at. And I know I can do it. So till next time, thank you so much for doing that for us, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah, if you're enjoying the videos like I know you are, ring the notification bell. It works.